right, so my other channel usually gets a lot of the vlog type setups like this, but for you guys, I just wanted to give you a quick heads up. I'm on the way to a church that I've worked with for a number of years now. This is a smaller congregation that's about 20 minutes from my house. And I've made recommendations a few years ago to move into the digital space. They've got an analog console that they've been using for a long time, and the church invested a good bit of money into this console. And the console itself is not bad, being analog, but it has channels that have started to die. The functionality really doesn't quite suit what they need, and they've added a number of outboard pieces of gear to try and compensate for what's going on. So they finally reached out. They said, we've made the decision, we're going to move to a digital board. I made a recommendation of a couple different consoles, the Behringer X32, obviously the M32, even recommended an Allen & Heath board, and so they wanted kind of a spectrum of consoles. I think they chose the X32 Compact, which will fit them really well. They don't need to see the whole real estate of 20 some odd channels. So I think the Compact's going to fit well, but we're on the way right now to install it. So I'll be pulling in here in just a second. I'm going to go in, do some talking, but I want to take you guys through the process of what I'm going to do to try and capture the settings and the setup as it is right now in the analog console. And then I'll try and use X32 Edit. That's my main goal, to build the majority of the scene. And then I can transfer that onto the board, and then we can fine tune from there. So we will see you guys in the venue in just a few minutes. Haha, new console. All right, so here we've got the Allen & Heath GL 2400. This is a very stereotypical analog console. The console does great. It sounds good. It does a lot of great things. It's even got, multiple mix buses and left, right, and mid outputs. You've got plenty of outputs up here. It really was a workhorse in its day, but it's been, it's spent time with a lot of renditions down here. A lot of these channels that are pulled down, or the ones that have black tape on them, are dead channels. And so we've slowly been migrating stuff from here back over to here, consolidating things. You've got two stereo inputs, but one of them, I think the left channel on one of them isn't working properly. So anyway, it is a great investment for them to make, to move up to the X32. Obviously everybody's live streaming, and they have even a send from this into an overflow room into their fellowship hall. And so getting a good quality mix to send over there, we're going to use that with a matrix from their live stream mix. But as you can see, everything plugs directly in. It's labeled pretty well, but I'm going to take some good pictures of everything here. I'm not going to touch the console, any of these EQ, because I'm going to use these as a good starting point to get everything set up on the X32. Little side note too, some of what I was talking about with their outboard gear, you can see over here they've got a DBX unit, they've got this multi-com, which is compressor and gate, that's running four items. We have, if I remember right, one of these is on pastor's microphone, one of them's on the main outs, and then two of them run monitors. And then you've got your EQ, because they had some monitor feedback issues. And so you can see this has drum, choir, piano, and then fellowship hall. So some of this outboard gear, if not all of it, I'm not going to get rid of it immediately. But what I'd like to do is get everything up and running, and then get these things out of here so that we can just use everything in the X32. Then you don't have any challenges with people turning this off, messing with things by accident, and it's just a cleaner way to do it. Save it all in the digital format and make it all work. All right, but the next thing I got to do is hop back here. I'm going to pull this console up and forward, start unplugging everything after I've taken pictures, and then we'll get to the install.
A few moments later.
All right, so I just went through, I did some videos of where everything is plugged in on the back. Got a couple things we have to investigate, but it's gonna be much easier if it's off of this table. So the only thing that's left back there is the power plug, so I'm gonna unplug that. We're gonna take this desk off, and I'm probably just gonna set it right down here underneath for a minute. All right, let's get this thing off. So what you can see behind me here, now that we've got the desk down, first off, somebody put a lot of thought process and time and honestly some effort into building this table. This table is set up, it is sturdy, this thing is solid, it's not going anywhere. But even the slant and the reveal here was built just for that Allen Heath. They put some thought process into this, so I appreciate whatever craftsman built this. Thank you for spending some time on the analog console and for the audio world that's back in this this booth here. But the cables behind, the cables have seen a lot of transitions over the years. We're gonna try and clean that up some as much as we can. You can see that we've got some cables that were RCAs that had some converters on them. So what I wanna do is I wanna go ahead and try and clean as much of this up as I can. But first I'm gonna set the desk up here. Now the desk has 16 inputs, plus we've got the 6 auxiliary ins that we can utilize, and we've got the 8 outputs. So we're gonna get everything to work together. My concern is the outputs to a lot of their locations were 1/4 inch outs. Those are set up as TRRS outputs, and the outputs on the X32, the aux outs, which we're gonna use, those are mono outs. So I've gotta make sure that everything is working right. I think it's just feeding monitors, or it's feeding the fellowship hall, which is a mono setup anyway. We should be good there. But let's get the console up here, the X32 one, and let's start plugging things in. We're also gonna pull out X32 Edit and start twinkling the keyboard to get some things set up. All right, let's go. All right guys, so in the end, we've got a console, we've got labels, we've tested their monitors, been able to set up some DCAs for them, got their 16 channels set up, and really got everything set up. They are actually not live streaming yet, so it is kind of just running their house, and they do record. I'm gonna get them to use the thumb drive up here to record instead of running over to some outboard gear that, if I get y'all to spin around, they've got this Tascam CD recorder that they've been using. And so although they do go from that recorder up here to like a multi-disc replicator, I'm gonna see if they can utilize the USB thumb drive to get a quick tool, and then we can kind of work from there. All right, so even the footprint is smaller. You can see how much space they've got on the desk now, and really a great opportunity for them to step up in the audio quality. Even just running some audio from my thumb drive through the board, the sound was incredibly different in a good way, much cleaner, and actually had about 30% more power output. I had to retune the room and turn the amps down. They were at about 85%, now they're at 50%, and still sounds really, really good and much cleaner. So this digital world is a great thing. It is a huge step, and I know you guys that are watching this video, you know about it. That's why you're on this channel. But anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. Hit the like button and the subscribe button, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.